I'm going to refresh the screen. Hopefully it works this time. Look at YouTube.
Yeah, we are up, Joe. We're good.
Yep, we're good to go now.
There you go. There you go. Take two.
It worked this time. Good morning. Good morning, Elias. We had a little bit of some gremlins going on here with YouTube. We went live and then we had to do a redo because it was just a white screen.
Yeah, we were 3 minutes into the show and we had to reverse course. But good morning, everybody. Everyone's back. Like you said, we didn't make that announcement on Twitter that we're back.
Yeah.
So the people that are going to be watching today's show are the diehards. They're the ones that have the subscription pop up on their phone or laptop during the day. Very nice, man.
It's good to be back. You know, we were off for about a week and
yeah, the Spurs started losing when we got off the air there for a while there. We're the secret sauce to it all.
Yeah. I think so. As soon as, like you said, we took off, the Spurs went on a losing streak and we started almost coming back here and look, they started winning.
Yeah.
Again. Well, they lost again here in the last one against the Blazers. That was a disappointing loss.
Joe, it's so funny, man. It's the beginning of the year. We're all talking about New Year's resolutions. How many people have already broken their resolution?
Probably already a lot of them did.
I was on the drive over here last night and saw an advertisement for the Billy Madison radio show. They were on the show with us a couple weeks ago. They're giving away this week a Louis Vuitton purse. Now that is a sponsorship right there. They're sponsored by Thomas J. Henry. How do we get Thomas J. Henry to sponsor us?
Right. The thing is, I was telling Sean that I'm interested in getting Kendra Scott.
Nice.
Because I want to do a giveaway.
We're rising together on a Monday morning. My name is Mike Jimenez. That's Joe Garcia. This is the Area 210 podcast powered by P.F. Chang's La Cantera. It's the first show of the year, Joe, and you were telling us about the milestones that are going on. This is episode 496, which means on Friday, 500. We have episode number 500. So this month, later this month, we're going to celebrate episode number 500 with a happy hour, and it's looking like it's going to be at Little Woodrow's, the one by UTSA, off of 1604. So we're going to figure that one out, but it looks like it's going to be the end of the month. And no, I'm not going to punk out of it.
Don't reschedule.
I'm going to go. So we'll look at doing that at the end of the month. Another milestone, by the way.
Yeah.
We picked up subscriber number 2,600.
Nice.
Joe, we're the little podcast that could, man. Little engine that could.
Yeah, we're going. And right here in my hand, courtesy of P.F. Chang's, we have $250 or $200 worth of gift cards here.
Very
for
nice.
Little Woodrow's. So
I wonder if it can only be used for food.
Well,
either way,
let's see what it says.
We're gonna get our drink on.
I was telling you, the verbiage on here is very vague. It says the voucher is good for 50 each, right? Worth of food and beverages at Little Woodrow's, the Brown location only.
Yeah, I think there's some asterisks involved with that because I've always been told that you cannot use a gift card for alcohol. I've always been told that. So, but Little Woodrow's is not a bar and grill. Well, it's a bar and grill. It's primarily a bar that happens to serve food. It's not a restaurant that happens to serve alcohol. But I love Little Woodrow's. It's a fantastic location off of Braun. We call it the UTSA location because it's a few exits over. Yeah. But we'll have some sort of party there at the end of the month to celebrate episode 500 of the show. Celebrate also subscriber number 2,500 and 2,600 over the holiday period. So fantastic. Big show today, Joe, because there's so much that we can get into. What a wild night it was last night. Ravens Steelers having a fourth quarter for the ages. We'll get into that. Zach Lowe on the Ringer. Okay, he is an NBA insider talking about the Spurs, about a trade the Spurs are going to try to do. And he named names, Joe. He named two Spurs that are going to be traded or the Spurs are going to dangle out there. One, a fan favorite. He also dangled a third name that Spurs fans don't want to hear and the reasons behind that. We're going to get into the NFL playoffs because it's been set. Dude, the stat of the day for me is this. 2 months ago, 9 weeks ago, Jacksonville was 5-4. The Houston Texans were 4-5.
Yeah.
Texans 1 game behind the AFC South. Both teams won out the rest of the way. So the Texans won 8 in a row to end the year and could not overtake Jacksonville because Jacksonville won 8 in a row to end the year. Texans actually on a 9-game winning streak. Fantastic, but the odds are out for the first round of the playoffs. And we'll talk about why Cowboy fans are going to be big-time Chicago Bear fans over the weekend.
Oh, man.
None of this Cowboy fan cheering for the Packers. You can't do it. You can't do it. But, Joe, it's nice to be back in the saddle. I told you over the weekend, I said, I'm going to be in studio. And you were like all excited until this morning when you're like, oh, my God, we got to get all the equipment up and running.
Jeez,
cameras were out. YouTube kind of fumbled the bag earlier on. But we're back in the saddle. The chat is now up, powered by P.F. Chang's La Cantera. Very, very, very nice. We'll get into it. If you want to be part of the media share, you can call us at 830 or actually text us at 830-391-9164 if you want to go into that as well.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the NFL because that's what everyone's talking about right now. If Spurs don't play until tomorrow. They got the Grizzlies tomorrow on the road. Spurs are favored in that game. We'll talk about the Spurs a lot today and about the trade rumors involving the Ringer over the weekend, because it wasn't one of those things where it's like Bill Simmons just kind of pulling things out of his butt saying the Spurs should do this and the other. Zach Lowe is saying, no, this is what NBA executives are talking about when it comes to the Spurs. So it has a little bit more substance when it comes to it all. But the NFL last night, exclamation point. What a finale between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. A fourth quarter for the ages. You have Aaron Rodgers going against Lamar Jackson, an old-ass Aaron Rodgers going against Lamar Jackson. The winner of that game wins the division, goes into the playoffs. The loser goes fishing, right?
Yeah, they go to Cancun. They go home.
And it was one of those games where it was kind of ho-hum and boring up until the fourth quarter started, and all of a sudden you see a bunch of lead changes.
The last 3 minutes of the game were fire, bro.
Yeah. It's like it probably put you to sleep the first couple of first couple of quarters there.
3:26 left to go in the game was fire.
Yeah. We saw the lead change so often. You saw the Ravens go up. Zay Flowers, by the way, I don't think the Steelers realized that he was on the other team. Wide open the entire game for 2 big scores, and it looked as though the Ravens were going to pull away and win this game 24-20, but then the Steelers get the ball back, and what do? Aaron Rodgers gets that magic touchdown pass to Austin, gets it to 26-24, chip shot for an extra point. No, kicker misses the extra point.
Wasn't that the weirdest kick you've ever seen?
It was a corkscrew. It just went to the right.
It looked like it was money, and then it just did this weird little, like you said, corkscrew.
Yeah.
And it just went off a tangent, dude.
Dude, that's the way I drive a golf ball. It just looks straight for about 100 yards, and then it just veers to the right. And he missed it, right? So it's like, okay, well, field goal wins the game. Ravens get the kickoff, take it to the 40-some-odd yard line. You get a 4th down, Joe. Lamar Jackson completed on a 4th and 7, getting it down to the 25-yard line or so. I think it was a 44-yard field goal to win the game. And it, just like the extra point, veered to the right. It was going straight.
That extra point, dude. Look at it from the Steelers.
Just courtesy of NBC, just completely sidewinded to the right.
It's the oddest thing I've ever seen.
Both kickers just shanked them. And it's so weird because, like, I know we want to come down on Lamar Jackson because Lamar Jackson, let's not say that he had a great game because he didn't. He had 3 touchdown passes, but he threw for 11 for 18. He likes going for the deep passes. Zay Flowers had 138 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns on just 4 catches. 2 of those long ass touchdowns. Derrick Henry rushed for 126. Everything that the Ravens needed to do to win the game, they did.
Until they came down to this.
Until the kicker comes.
Snap good. Hold it. The kick is no good. It is wide right.
He didn't barely miss it. He missed it by a wide margin. He could have driven a bus through that discrepancy there.
What's his name going to be?
Gone.
Snap good. Hold it.
And, you know, you don't want to see that happen to a kicker, but But, the fact of the matter is
and it didn't look like it was windy. I'm going to be honest, man.
You have a 24-year-old rookie kicker named Tyler Loop. Remember back in the day, they had a really solid kicker for many, many years. And now this is the importance of having a kicker, right? This is the importance of having a Brandon Aubrey for a good team, Adam Vinatieri back in the day, Mike Vanderjagt, right? Good kickers matter in December and January. Lost in the game. Can you imagine the ride home? Because it's not like he missed a 54-yarder.
44.
He missed a 44-yarder.
That's a chip shot, man.
It's like going to the free throw line. I was looking at the stats, Joe, of the longest field goal kicks of all time, because over the weekend we had the longest kick in regular season history, a 67-yard kick. And it was good from 80, Joe. Not only was it good for 67 yards, that kicker hit the net on that kick. So you have the net behind the goalpost there.
Yeah.
He hit the net.
He's got a leg on him, dude. He kick it that damn far. Just like Aubrey.
I hate to say it. Probably better. His name is Cam Little, plays for the the Jacksonville Jaguars, rather. Cam Little hit a 70-yarder in preseason. So it's the longest kick ever in regular season history, longest kick ever in football history.
Yeah.
Is held by Cam Little. He hit the back of the net, Joe.
What's going to happen?
It didn't dribble over the goalpost.
Yeah, it hit the back of the net.
But
I'm saying, what's going to happen in the future here? You're going to be able to kick 70-yard field goals?
Yeah.
To win a game?
70-yard field goals, you got to get to the 48-yard line.
So I'm like, geez,
your own 48-yard line. Now, I know that there's been a 68-yard kick and all that, but some of it's like regular season. So it's different rules. But what's funny about it, Joe, is that I was looking at the all-time records. The record used to be like 52, and that held up for like 2 decades, Joe. And then it became 60, 65. When does it change? Do they have to change the goalpost, make it thinner? Do they have to make it further out? Do you have to make the end zone kick just not behind the goal line, but move it back 4 or 5 yards? Back in the day, the goalpost used to be in the front of the end zone, then they moved to the back for player safety.
Yeah.
But there's also certain rule changes that have been going on when it comes to it all, because it used to be that the balls being used had to be like brand new, but now they can use worn balls to make it happen.
Yeah.
So it's different, man.
Yeah, I remember back in the day. Remember when it used to be in the front of the end zone? The players used to go and do the dunk.
They used to do the dunk, but they also used to use it as like a screen in basketball. I'm going to go behind the goalpost and come out the other side.
Yeah, it's strange things, man. When early on, that was like late 70s, early 80s, things like that. That's when that was going on. They make these rules and implementations. Remember, they started also putting that foam around the goalpost as well. I was like, it's just the evolution of the game, I wanted to go ahead and look at this, though. We do got a super chat we got to address here. Thank you to Jason Garcia.
Yeah, he wants an old man grito for a successful trip around the big ball of fire, age 46. Happy 46th birthday to Jason Garcia. And he says also for his Seahawks clinching the number 1 seed. No one's giving the Seahawks any love, man. No one really is. No one believes in that team just yet, but let's give a grito to Jason Garcia.
Presumir a mis amigos les conté que en el amor.
Man, that's the old school one.
Yeah.
I look at that Seahawks team, arguably the best defense in all of the NFL.
I don't know. You got the Texans.
The Texans are also, but let's say on the NFC side of the house. Okay. At the end of the day, what wins championships? They say defense and running, right? But at the same time, in the year 2026, you also need quarterback play. Do you believe in Sam Darnold? Sam Darnold led the Vikings a while back to a 14-3 record, wet the bed first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold is in charge of the Seahawks, right? He's having a good year, man. 67.7 yards passing completion, 4,048 yards, 25 touchdowns, but he also has 14 interceptions, Joe.
Yeah.
That's a lot of interceptions in today's league. I have a hard time believing in Sam Darnold because I know the defense is going to keep them in the game, but at some point, Sam Darnold's going to need to do something with the ball, and I don't trust him.
Well, he's just a guy that's just going to get it done. He's not going to do anything flashy. He can't run out the pocket. He's got to stay in the pocket. The only thing he needs to do is just make sure the ball gets in the receiver's hands, and he doesn't throw an interception.
He's got the receiver in Jackson Smith-Njigba, who's one of the best in the league. But you look at this weekend's games, and I like a lot of the road teams, and I know we'll make our predictions later on in the year, in the week rather. But if you look at the lineup, the way the playoffs work is 1 through 4 are the division winners. So even though the Ravens lost to the Steelers are still going to have a home game that they don't deserve. Carolina made the playoffs at 8-9. That was so funny how everyone was watching the Saints play the Falcons, a meaningless game that determined who was going to be the representative of the NFC South.
Yeah.
If you saw the Falcons win, Panthers go into the playoffs. The Saints win, the Buccaneers go into the playoffs. But you know what? The Buccaneers didn't deserve it, man. They lost 8 out of 9 games. They shouldn't be in there, right?
Yeah.
I know they won the last game of the season. But
they were masters of their own fate. And when you put your hands in another team's,
right,
you put your fate in another team, things happen like this.
When you're 6-1 and finish the season 8-9, you don't deserve to be in the playoffs. The Panthers were 8-9, but they had a bunch of injuries along the way.
But they're frauds, dude.
They got Rico Dowdle, man. Rico Dowdle's in the playoffs.
They're frauds, man. They're gonna wind up getting their ass kicked, dude. They're gonna go up against the Rams. No, man.
Okay, so that is the biggest discrepancy of the spreads this upcoming week. It's a bad game when the NFL puts you on Saturday afternoon. That is the game that they don't want to pull. They don't want to televise.
Lowest ratings.
Yeah. Saturday afternoon. Rams at Panthers, 3:30. 10.5 point spread. Rams favored on the road by 10.5 points.
That's gonna get ugly quick.
Yeah. Packers at Bears that night. Okay, so Cowboy fans, listen up. This game will determine up to 5 spots where you guys pick in the NFL draft come April. Cowboy fans need to cheer for the Bears like no one's business. Because as of right now, the Cowboys have the number 12 pick in the draft, but because of the Micah Parsons trade, they get a first rounder this year from the Green Bay Packers. If the Packers lose, the Packers pick is number 20 in the draft. So the Cowboys could have picks number 12 and number 20. So 2 top 20 picks. Packers win this game. That pick falls to at least 25. Packers win that game, it goes to 30.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, it's for every Packers win from here on out, it's like 5 spots, right? And then the Super Bowl would get them to 32 if that were to happen. The Bears favored by a point and a half, even though the Bears are 11-6 and 6-2 at home. Bears lost yesterday to the Lions, and I was watching that game, Joe. I know they tied it up at 16-16. I was watching that game. I thought to myself that the Bears looked like they had no desire to win that game because I believe personally the one team that they did not want to face in the playoffs was the Green Bay Packers.
And they got them.
Because who owns the Bears historically? I know the Bears beat them once this year, but who owns the Bears?
Green Bay.
Green Bay.
No.
And Green Bay is going to go in there just a 1.5 underdog. And you look at that, the Bears have lost 2 in a row. They lost 42-38 to San Francisco on the road. They lost 19-16 to Detroit to end the season. So they end the season in the thud. They lost 3 out of 5 because they lost at Lambeau. They did beat Green Bay there in Chicago 22-16 a few weeks ago, but it felt as though the Bears were trying to give that game away. I have no faith at all, Joe, in Caleb Williams.
No.
None. Caleb Williams, I mean, it's important for them to have, and by the way, Chicago still got the 2 spot because Philadelphia lost to the Commanders. Philadelphia rested their starters to give them a bye week because they would rather give their players a week off and play a road game in the second round against the Bears or against the Packers or host the Packers rather, than to have them risk injury against the Commanders. So basically, the Eagles played nobody yesterday.
Yeah,
it's a great thing going on in the NFC because it's so wide open, in the AFC.
You have frauds though. You have frauds out here, and you gotta call them out.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh, frauds. Carolina, frauds.
Yeah,
San Francisco, fraud. Jacksonville, fraud.
I don't know if Jacksonville's a fraud.
The Chargers. Don't never believe in the Chargers, bro.
Dude, okay, well, Chargers I agree with on there, but Handle the Fist saying on our chat, Jags in the playoffs with Trevor Lawrence. How bizarre. Dude, they won 8 in a row to end the year. How could we call Jacksonville frauds when they've won 8 in a row to end the year? That's like calling the Houston Texans frauds. Texans won 9 in a row to end the year.
Strength of schedule.
But you play who's in front of you, Joe.
Strength of schedule, bro. I'm just saying.
Let's look at that, though. Let's look at that. Did Jacksonville just have an easy schedule? Now, I know playing in that division is like playing for the Cowboys. The Cowboys played the Giants twice and the Commanders twice. You know, you're going to have to play the Colts twice, who were start off hot, by the way, but then ended up tailing off when Danny Dimes got hurt.
Yeah.
But let's look at the schedule. The 8 in a row. Are we excited about the fact that they beat the Chargers by 29 points?
No.
They beat Arizona on the road. They beat Tennessee. They beat an injured Indy team. They beat a bad Jets team. They beat a bad Tennessee team. They beat a bad Indianapolis team. The only game of record that they won, and they did it on the road, they beat the living crap out of the Denver Broncos on the road, 34-20. Okay. So let's holster that one for a second because that is Jacksonville. Meantime, winners of 9 in a row, the Houston Texans. Who do they beat in their streak here? They beat Jacksonville, being one of them, right? Yeah. They beat Tennessee, Indianapolis, right? They beat Kansas City on the road. They beat Buffalo, Arizona, the Chargers on the road. See, the Chargers win against the Jaguars that was at home. They beat the Chargers on the road. They beat Indy twice. They beat Tennessee, the Raiders. I mean, they beat who was in front of them, Joe. They beat who was in front of them. I mean, look at this team. This Texans team started the season 0-3. They ended up 12-5. Won 9 in a row to end the season.
They got people in the chat saying, "Oh, this isn't your daddy's Chargers team." No, man. They're frauds. They fraud assholes, and they're gonna wind up getting sent home by who? The New England Patriots, which I told everybody that you had to watch out for this team before the season started.
You did.
That was my dark horse team.
You did.
Number 2.
All right, so Saturday, again, Rams here by 10.5. Bears here by 1.5. Bills, Jaguars. That's a good game.
That's going to be a good game. Lawrence better than the other quarterback?
Josh Allen? Home cooking. Jaguars are 7-2 at home.
I understand that.
7-2 at home. 13-4 record, 7-2 at home. Bills are 5-3 on the road. Bills favored in that game. That is the disrespect to Jaguar fan out there. This Bills team is not as good as years past.
No, they're not.
They're a good team.
They struggled.
And in any given Sunday, they could win a game.
Yeah.
But they're not as consistent as years past.
No.
Like, if you were to say the Bills of 2024, the Bills of 2023, the ones that were battling up, trying to get past Joe Burrow, trying to get past Patrick Mahomes, those are really good teams.
No.
This team's not that good. I mean, it's good. It's a good team, but they're not elite.
No.
So if the Jags take them out, I would not be surprised.
You know what's beautiful about watching all this and you looking at the playoff picture?
Mm-hmm.
You don't see who? Kansas City Chiefs in there.
Travis Kelce might have played his last game.
I think so.
Patriots favored by 3.5 points. That's the Sunday night game. That's the marquee game against the Chargers on NBC Peacock. The Monday night game is going to be the Texans against the Steelers. Texans favored by 3.5 points on the road. I know all the Steelers do is win and make playoff games. They make the playoffs and win 10 games. This is what they do. Death, taxes, Steelers win 10.
Yeah.
But the Texans better win that game because that would have meant that the last 2 months were all for nothing. The game, though, Sunday afternoon is going to be the fun game, Joe.
Yeah.
Williams coming out saying he loves seeing KC out of the picture. William Van Beckham. Good morning, my man. Said he loves seeing KC out of the picture.
Nine man.
3:30 on Fox. Niners, Eagles. This is a game that Cowboy fans can't watch because you can't cheer for anybody because those are the two biggest rivals. I know that they're not part of the I know the Niners are not part of the NFC East, but isn't this like the rivalry game for the Cowboys? Like you hate both of these teams.
What is the San Francisco 49ers and the Cowboys have in common?
They haven't won crap since the mid-90s.
Exactly.
Now the Niners have gone to the Super Bowl a few times
They have, but they haven't won.
Right, but they've at least made some noise.
They've gone, right? But I'm saying when it comes to winning the big game, right? They haven't won a Super Bowl, neither has the Cowboys. Cowboys are even worse because they haven't really even sniffed victory when they even made it into a wild card or a playoff.
Yeah.
You know?
So I have to do some research here. Because I saw a stat yesterday when the Cowboys lost and they finished the season 7-9-1. It was a game that they didn't care about. It was a useless, meaningless game. No one get hurt, right? We got to get Dak 4,000 yards so that we can all praise him. But I heard the phrase, man, the Cowboys since 2010 have missed the playoffs 10 times.
Yeah.
10 out of 16 times. And I thought to myself, Joe, if you go to my Twitter account, I thought to myself, that seems awful.
Yeah.
You missed the playoffs 10 out of 16 years. That seems awful. I wondered, because I saw that stat, how every other team in the NFC fares compared to the Cowboys. Did you know that missing the playoffs 10 out of 16 years is actually middle of the pack? Because I have all the teams listed, Joe. Since 2010, the team that has missed the playoffs the most since 2010, 13 out of 16 years, the Arizona Cardinals and the New York Giants. One caveat there, Joe.
All right.
In that 16-year period, the Giants do have a Super Bowl because Eli Manning beat Tom Brady that one time. Or he did it twice, but once since 2010. So again, the Cowboys have missed the playoffs 10 out of 16 years. Arizona, the Giants, 13 out of 16 years. Chicago and Washington have missed the playoffs 12 out of 16 years. Missing it 11 years is Atlanta, Carolina, Detroit, and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay did pick up a Super Bowl, though, with Tom Brady.
Yeah, they did.
Missing it 10 times, Dallas and Minnesota. 9 times, Rams and the New Orleans Saints. 8 times, San Francisco. 6 times, Philly. 5 times, Seattle. 3 times, Green Bay. Think about that. Green Bay has made the playoffs 13 out of 16 years.
That's crazy, dude.
So let me ask you this. How do we not realize that Seattle was a good franchise? I know a lot of this was the Russell Wilson, Legion of Boom stuff and all that. But for them to make the playoffs 11 out of 16 years and this should be the 1 seed, that's a good franchise.
Yeah.
Like no one talks about Seattle in that respect. But I want to ask you this question about Green Bay, because Green Bay, the Cowboys have lots of rivalries going on. They've got the 3 teams in the NFC East. They've got the Green Bay Packers, and they have San Francisco. History.
Yeah.
Why is Green Bay so good historically to make the playoffs the way that they do?
It's just a franchise is run very well. Same thing could be you could say for Seattle, because Seattle has proven that it wasn't just Pete Carroll. Right. And they've still been able to stay afloat. So, I think it's just a testament to how well these franchises are run compared to the Cowboys. And who is the guy that runs everything behind the scenes? Jared and Steve. He's the problem,
Well, I mean, it almost as though Green Bay, you go there because there's nothing else to do in Green Bay than to play football.
Yeah.
I mean, Green Bay is a city of 250,000 people. It's basically Corpus Christi with an NFL team.
Yeah.
But
and you also have news here because you've had some firings already. They've been
oh, really? Tell me about it.
Firings, and one of those that got fired, and I saw it in the chat right now too, and I was going to get to it, is that the Raiders let go of who? Pete Carroll. What's his name now?
Oh, he's gone. Yeah, I had heard I had heard the rumors about that.
Yeah, they posted this on the official NFL X.
Pete Carroll's a good looking man. He's a healthy looking man.
He gone.
Look at that guy. That guy can go run, and he's a youthful man for his age.
But he's a way, like you said, of Coach Pop, dude.
That's where I was going with that,
dude. He's from a bygone era, dude. He's got to
Joe,
go.
how old do you think he is?
He's 70 something, dude.
He's gonna be 75 at the start of the NFL season,
bro. Enjoy retirement, man.
74 years old, born September 15th, 1951. I am sorry, I am not a big fan of coaches of any league beyond age 66.
He gone, dude.
He gone.
You know who else is gone? You got to pour some out for the Browns head coach. He's also gone too.
Oh yeah, they don't believe in stability there. But no. Kevin Stefanski, rather,
gone.
I mean, who wants to be the head coach of the Cleveland Browns?
Who wants to be the head coach of the Jets, dude?
I mean, they're sticking with their guy. I think Miami's sticking with McDaniel as well.
For now, who the Miami Dolphins head coach?
Yeah,
I mean, he's on shaky ground, dude. I don't know if he's gonna make it.
I agree. Joe, what have you been thinking about the college football playoffs?
It's been not interesting, but it's been a letdown in a way, because you have these teams that go against each other, right? Oh, I can hear you, the audio, by the way.
I turned it off.
So you have these teams going up against each other, right? Like Oregon, for example, going up against Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Right? And Texas Tech is looking like, man, this team's going to be great. And they go in there and Oregon just obliterates them, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And I had said that was going to happen. I had said, watch Oregon beat Texas Tech. And that came to fruition. And then you have other teams that just have no business being in there, like James Madison University, JMU.
Well, I mean, they're there because it is to make it a more inclusive thing.
I get that,
and the reason why, okay,
but the competitive nature of the playoffs is you want to see these teams really go at it, and you look at the teams like the NFL, right? And when you have these teams going at it, there's some type of competition there, right? Because you're looking at the quality of player, and maybe any team can win, right? I get that, but in the college football playoffs, it comes down to money, dude.
Joe, I understand, but here's the thing: bias comes into play, and I know James Madison wasn't going to compete.
No, man.
and I know that the other team that was in the group of 5 was not going to compete as well. But at the same time, there is so much bias in college football, Joe. What were we told before the playoffs started? You can't have James Madison in there. You can't have a Tulane in there because you need to have Texas, or you need to have Vanderbilt. You need to have these SEC schools, right? There were already 5 schools, Joe. There's 12 teams in the playoff. 2 of them were were these group of 5 kind of teams, right? And the other 10 were the regular conferences, the big conferences, Joe. And SEC fan, Texas fan, were pissed off that there was 5 of them in the playoff, 5 of the 10 spots. Joe, they wanted them to have 7 of the 10 spots.
Yeah.
Because all we've been told is this bull crap for years that the SEC is the big boy, and if you want to watch college football, it's the SEC,
yeah.
and the SEC schedule's so tough because look at who they have to play. Joe, it's all bull crap. It's all bull crap. You know what the SEC's record is in bowl games this year?
Not very good.
They're 4-9, Joe. 4-9. Okay. Here's the funny thing about the 4-9 record, Joe.
Yeah.
4-9. Let's count the 4 wins. 1 was against Tulane. We're really going to count that one?
Nah.
And 2 of the victories came on an SEC versus SEC team. Bama beat Oklahoma. Ole Miss beat Georgia. So someone had to win those games. But look at this. A&M lost to Miami.
Missouri, I saw that one.
Missouri lost to Virginia. LSU lost to Houston. Tennessee lost to Illinois. Vanderbilt lost to Iowa. Bama lost to Indiana. Mississippi State lost to Wake Forest. The only team, Joe, in the SEC, the only team that won a bowl game that wasn't against a group of 5 team, that wasn't against a fellow SEC team, was Texas when they beat Michigan 41-27. There is no bigger fraud. You want to talk about frauds? Is Lamar Jackson a fraud? Is Josh Allen a fraud? Is Aaron Rodgers a fraud? You're talking about biggest fraud. Oh. The biggest fraud that's being perpetrated in sports is that the SEC is elite. That is what that is the fraud, because Nick Saban made the SEC elite. The second he left, I know Kirby Smart had his run in Georgia, but you had that decade there of Florida, Georgia, Bama. You have top 2 teams there, right, that are really good, but you can't tell me that 3 through 14 are any better than the Big Ten, especially since the Big Ten swallowed up the Pac-12. Yeah. There's an East Coast bias to it all, and we saw that after these games. We saw that when Indiana beat the living out of Bama. Do you ever thought we'd ever see a day where Indiana beat Alabama 38-3 in a playoff game?
No.
If they had played each other 10 times, Indiana was going to win that game 10 times. They're head and shoulders above Bama.
No.
And you see the talking heads on ESPN. ESPN is in bed literally with the SEC. They hype them up no different than Fox News hypes up Trump, no different than MSNBC hypes up the Democrats. The SEC is hyped up by ESPN because they are in bed together.
Yeah.
And that's why afterwards you saw Cam Newton and Paul Feinbaum go off and talk about how it was more embarrassing that Ohio State lost.
Yeah,
it's stupid. It's funny, dude. It's funny.
The only good games that you had that were exciting to me, I mean, I like the Miami and the Texas A&M game, because that one came down to the wire, and unfortunately, Texas A&M season came to an end because they're trying to throw in quadruple coverage. What do you think is going to happen? You're at the goal, right?
Right.
Run the damn ball. All you have to do is run the damn ball.
Mm-hmm.
You pass it, you effed around and you found out.
Right.
That's on the coach. The other game that was interesting and it was fun to watch was Bama and Oklahoma. Kind of close in score. It wasn't that bad. And you had some other ones, like you're watching Miami go up against Ohio State.
Right.
And then there was, of course, the upset, which you had Ole Miss, and they went ahead and surprised Georgia.
Okay, I want to let it be known, and I backed, so I'm not going to take full credit for this take, but partial credit for this take.
Mm-hmm.
About 2 months ago, when we were talking about college football on this show, I remember this because I was in Oklahoma with Chica and my family, and I was watching Mississippi State play a game, and they won. And I remember coming back to our podcast the following week, and I said, man, the one team I would not want to play is Ole Miss. Like, Ole Miss can just beat you up off the ground.
Yeah.
And they are a good program, and I know Lane Kiffin jumped ship to go to LSU. But I jumped on top of Ole Miss, and then I fell off I jumped off the bandwagon. But I saw it from a while back. But talk about Nick Saban's genius. Nick Saban, weeks before the playoffs, when they asked him, 2 weeks before the playoffs were set, remember Notre Dame was above Miami?
Yeah.
They asked Nick Saban, who are the best teams in college football right now? Who are the teams that you think are just by you knowing sports, who are the best teams? The teams he picked are still in. Did he say Ohio State?
No.
He said Miami. And this wasn't him doing a pregame thing. This was a couple of weeks before the playoffs. He goes, Miami is the best team in college football. He goes, so much NFL talent is on that roster. They lost 2 games that they shouldn't have lost, but that's a team you don't want to play. And then he goes, Indiana, he goes, Fernando Mendoza is better than you think. And that's a tough, well-oiled machine. He starts talking about Ole Miss, and he goes, Ole Miss is just a powerhouse on the ground. And then he talked about Georgia. Guess what? That's who's still, around,
still alive.
And Georgia could win the national championship. I'm not saying that not Georgia, Ole Miss rather.
Yeah.
Ole Miss took out Georgia, but he mentioned Georgia as being one of the 4 teams out there. But Ole Miss played them. What I meant was Ole Miss can still win the championship on behalf of the SEC. That's the point I was trying to make.
And that's a good game that you have coming up: Miami versus Ole Miss. that's going to be exciting to watch to me. Hopefully it ain't a blowout. It's a close game, but I think this one can go back and forth, back and forth. It's going to be a very exciting game to watch. Now, the other one that's exciting to watch too is going to be Oregon and Indiana.
Yeah. John Dyer coming out on our chat. Exit 12, exit 7 rather.
Exit 7.
12 is Ingram.
Yeah.
Saying it would be hilarious if Ole Miss wins and Kiffin never wins one. That would be hilarious. He also said, did y'all see Raider fans singing Fernando yesterday? Would it be the second coming of Fernando Mania? Because back in the early to mid 80s, Fernando Valenzuela for the Los Angeles Dodgers, former San Antonio Mission, Fernando Valenzuela, took the world by storm. Fernando Mania is going to exist again in sports.
Look at John Dyer was saying, did you all hear the Raiders fans singing Fernando?
The more you hear him get interviewed, and I was telling Chica this about the Diego Pavia versus Fernando Mendoza type of thing.
Yeah.
Diego Pavia came out like a complete douchebag.
Oh, God.
And his mom doing the whole thirst trappy things in the stands. And then you have Fernando Mendoza, who's corporate. He talks like Peyton Manning. Yeah. He talks like somebody that you want to run your team.
Somebody went to media class. Let's put it like that. To learn how to talk to the media, because it's an art form, right? And you get these people that or these college players, right? And they don't know how to speak to the media. Like, you can go to class for that, right? You can go to classes as soon as what? You're in high school.
Yeah.
Where they tell you how to speak publicly.
And
right?
It's funny because I have cousins who are chiefs of fire departments that I've talked about media training before, because they get interviewed whenever there's a fire or whatnot. And
don't say
yeah, and speak in plain language, right?
Yes.
Don't speak in the police code or or fire code when it comes to it all. Talk in normal English, not lingo. But he's meant for the NFL.
Oh, the dude has got the skills, and he's also got the ability,
the poise. He's got the
talk.
He's got the height.
I mean, the kid, he's got it all, dude. And he knows how to talk to the media, and the media loves him.
Yeah, Joy Khan saying Pavia going number 1 in the USFL draft. Pavia, who listed himself as 6 foot.
Bro, he's 5'8", 5'5" on a good day, man.
Okay,
come on.
So I was talking to Chica the other day because I've had difficulty ice skating, right?
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why I have difficulty ice skating is because for all intents and purposes, it looks like I ride a horse. I'm bow-legged, right?
Cricket on ice. That's what I call it.
I'm bow-legged, right? So I made the joke that there's surgery out there where they break your legs.
Oh, God.
And they bring you back together, right? Did you know that if they did that to me, I would gain 2 inches in height?
They can do that. Like, don't they put like the spacers or something in there where the bone will grow on it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, the spacers will be on them. They have to break your leg to have it.
Yeah.
So my sister's making fun of me saying that I can save money by just having that girl from Misery, Kathy Bates, come in and just crunch my legs.
Put that little 2x4 right there and just hit you with the sledgehammer.
Because I'm like, okay, because I don't have like the biggest bow-legged problem, but it's there. And my brother-in-law's looking at me going, yeah, it's about an inch on each side.
And look at Sam. Sam's calling me out. He goes, and like Joe saying, like every other word, nails on chalkboard. Like.
We all have our verbal tics, especially those who do podcasts and radio. Yeah. I sometimes say a lot, it's funny that, or I was just thinking about, and then the other one was fact of the matter is, there used to be a Bear County Social Apparel had a sweatshirt of me saying, fact of the matter is,
yes,
Skip Jimenez, quote from Skip Jimenez. Those are verbal tics. It's just how we begin conversations.
It's hard to talk. People don't understand like how hard it is to kind of like, when I'm doing the show, you're looking left and right at the same time, trying to look at the chat, trying to listen to you, trying to make sure we put the graphics and everything up at the same time, and then having to speak,
right. And
it's easier said than done.
And right now I'm doing this show because normally I have the chat to my right when I'm doing the show from Conroe at home. Here the chat's to my left, so it's kind of weird because everything that I normally do is flip-flopped when I'm in studio, so I'm not used to it. That's why I kind of haven't. I'm just kind of going to the chat intentionally,
yes, I know,
as opposed to it just being naturally where I see it pop up
in front of you.
I'm seeing it 30 seconds later.
I was going to tell you, I have a new toy there for you on the right side of the laptop there, that little white device.
Yeah.
That's actually a charger. If you look over here to the right.
Oh, nice.
Because you're always saying, no, you have to plug it into your phone.
Okay.
So I was like, you're always telling me, I need to plug in my phone. I need to charge it. That sucker will charge your phone rapidly. Like in 20, 30 minutes, you'll have a fully charged phone.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Hey, we're going to talk about the Spurs in a second. But before we get into that, I like that comment that Tony Analysis, what's the Map My Walk contest? Okay, so this is the unofficial start of the New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
I know that for some people it's January 1, but others it's the first Monday of the year. And I have a challenge going out there with a gift card, a $50 gift card to HEB. For those who can complete this challenge and who finish number 1 when it comes to miles walked for the month of January, and number 1 for the most calories burned. Okay, so for somebody who weighs 250 or 350, you burn more calories per mile than somebody who weighs 150.
Yeah,
right?
Of course. Yeah.
So we have 2 different contests when it comes to it, right? Because it's not going to be how much weight you lost, because some people are losing weight on their own. Some people are using Ozempic or whatever. So we're going to do just actual movement.
Zepbound. What are the other ones?
Zepbound and Mounjaro. And I did Mounjaro for about a month and a half, and I got off of it.
Why?
To be honest with you, I didn't like some of the side effects.
Okay.
But it wasn't bad. It was manageable, but I just didn't like it anymore. So there's an app on your iPhone or on your Android called Map My Walk.
Okay.
And it's done by Under Armour, and it syncs to your phone. And whenever you go for a jog or for a walk or a power walk, you record how far you're going, and it'll GPS you around wherever you're going, and it'll say how many steps you took. This is not a pedometer type of thing where you have a Fitbit on, or you have your Apple Watch on like I do, where it's counting your steps, because that's weird. Because like some people, we have desk jobs, some people work in factories, some people work in positions, grocery stores, for example, where they're walking all day long. That's no fair. That's just their daily thing. Map My Walk or Map My Run. We'll do Map My Walk for this one. You have to be deliberate in saying, I'm going to go for a walk right now.
Yeah.
And it'll measure your time. So last night, so I have a challenge out there. So it's 3 ways that you go about doing this. Step 1 is you go to Map My Walk and you download it. Step 2 is you get me your email address and I add you as a friend. Step 3 is you accept the challenge request, and then you're on there. So we've had some people challenge. So if you want to be part of this, send us you're doing this. And Samson is saying, are you only accepting those Map My Walk? Yes, I am. You can do Map My Walk and Apple Fitness at the same time. The reason why I'm choosing Map My Walk is because I want people to see what their competition is doing. It's no fair for somebody to say, I didn't know that I was in second place. Everyone needs to know where they rank. And Map My Walk will allow you to sync to it all so that you know who's in first place. So right now, this started yesterday, basically. And in first place right now is Jen Noriega, who's one of our subscribers.
Really? Jen, Alex's wife?
Yeah, she's at 3.4 miles walked, and it started over the weekend. I'm at 3.1 miles or 3.0. Alex Noriega is at 1.1 miles, and we have 3 others who have joined who have yet to start. So we're gonna get this going. And so again, it's Map My Walk. Download it, send me your email, accept my friend request, and then accept the invitation to the challenge. Mario Cavazos accepted my friend request, but has yet to accept the challenge. Go on to the app, accept the challenge, and you're added to the list of people you could get to see. Yeah. So very, very, very nice.
Map My Walk. I could do that from the comfort of my home.
No, it actually can't, because it's GPS. It's GPS.
Oh,
so
man.
if you do 3 miles and if you do 3 miles of walking it's a GPS tracker.
I work so late, right? So maybe if I put a GPS tracker or something like that on one of the neighborhood kids' bikes or something, have them run around the block for me.
Yeah.
Right. I was going to tell you over the holidays too. One thing that happened to us here in the house is I got a new cat.
Oh no, you were telling me about that the other day on text.
Yeah.
What name did you give it?
Felicia.
Oh my goodness.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia.
Mm-hmm. No, it was a neighborhood stray cat. I guess she came to our house when she was a kitten, right? And we kept taking care of her and everything. And she just ran up to me one day just chose me like a Pokemon,
Mm-hmm.
So she stuck around and everything. So it just finally, we decided to take her to the PetSmart and give her the once over, because we got a subscription for like the vet, you take her to the vet and all that. They gave her shots and everything, said she's in perfect health, didn't have any parasites, any of that. They gave her a bath, cleaned her, defleed her, all that kind of stuff, gave us some medicine for her, and she's ours now. She's been in the house and she's been great.
Congratulations, dude.
She's
That's
really
nice.
quiet, really, really sweet. She just wants to just be petted and be hanging out with you all the time.
A lot of cats don't like that, dude. Chica's dog has become a little bit of a problem because he's getting old now, right?
Yeah.
And has gone from a well-behaved dog to a dog that now chews on things. So we got to figure that one out. Chica and I are looking at land on Thursday.
Yeah.
So we visited a house. So we've gone to some places in San Antonio. We've been to some places in Von Ormy. We're going to be looking at places in Floresville. We're going to be looking at places in Conroe. Yeah. There's a piece of property that I saw. I drove by it in Conroe. It's a 2-acre piece of property.
Yeah.
Beautiful home on there, dude.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go check that one out.
And somebody said that I'm going to pull out a 20 of my money clip and tell the kids, go get me 5 miles. My money clip is empty right now. My nieces tapped me out from the money clip, dude.
Yeah, we can call bullcrap on all that, because if I see that you ran a mile in 2.5 minutes, I get to monitor who's doing what. So we're gonna call it crap.
And look at that. We got a Tex-Mex Frank. He says he's gonna add a cap to the winner of the walk-off.
The walk-off panza. Let's give some love to PF Chang's Lock and Terror. On the other side, we're gonna talk Spurs, because the Ringer, who I'm a big fan of, right? So you have all these people who are talking heads who don't know anything about sports, like me. They're just me. They're just entertainers, right? Like me and Joe, right? We're not insiders per se. We're just fans. But the Zach Lowe podcast, he knows insiders in the NBA, and he's talking about what insiders of the NBA are talking about when they come to the Spurs. Who the Spurs are trying to trade before the trade deadline. By the way, there's a deadline this week for the Spurs on a lot of their contracts. 5 of them.
You know who's going to be gone here pretty soon.
And then he brought up 3 names that the Spurs are going to try to trade. Or 2 names that they're going to try to trade, definitely. And one that he says they should trade. We're going to hear from Zach Lowe, the Zach Lowe podcast from The Ringer on the other side. Let's give some love to P.F. Chang's La Cantera.
P.F. Chang's La Cantera, San Antonio's premier destination for dinner, date night, or happy hour. Enjoy one of their signature dishes, such as the Singapore street noodles, sesame chicken, or Chang's spicy chicken, or their infamous Chang's chicken lettuce wraps, which are delicious, by the way. You can enjoy all this while you're dining in an Asian-inspired atmosphere. And make sure to enjoy the new outdoor patio and try some of P.F. Chang's signature cocktails and drinks during happy hour, Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. P.F. Chang's La Cantera is a proud sponsor of the Area 210 podcast.
There, he helps run the show over there at P.F. Chang's La Cantera. They're a big sponsor of the show. We're in talks right now with another company for a sponsorship, so hopefully that one comes through in the next couple of weeks. But thank you to Sean Quintero for all his love and support over there.
Don't forget that Wines Day Wednesday is going to be coming up here.
Mm-hmm.
So you get half off of bottles of wine and champagne every day, all day, every Wednesday.
Joe, one of my favorite things over at P.F. Chang's La Cantera is the old-fashioned, the smoked old-fashioned, right?
That's so good.
So Chica and I bought all of these gifts for people. We have, for Christmas and whatnot, right? Family members, cousins, nephews, nieces, siblings, parents, stuff like that, right? Well, we made a list of all, like Santa, we made a list. We checked it twice of who we're giving this and that to, right?
Yeah.
And we found out just yesterday that there was one gift we did not give away. And I'm laughing at her because I'm thinking to myself, she had to have kept this on purpose. It was an at-home smoker for old fashions.
Oh, really?
So it's a little contraption, and it came with like these pellets.
Okay.
And you light it up and whatnot, and it smokes your old fashioned at home,
like they do at PF Chang's.
Yeah, but it's like a little portable one.
Yeah,
and I was like, I know you kept that for yourself. Let's just not, that didn't just happen. And she's like, no, I swear, I wasn't getting. This was supposed to be given away, but we kept it.
Yeah, she also liked the gift I gave you.
Oh yeah, the paddle.
The paddle. There's a cutting board.
There's a cutting board with our name on it, but it's suspiciously the size of a paddle.
Yeah. That's what she said. She said you called it a paddle, but she liked it.
Yeah, no, it was nice, and it had our name kind of. I don't want to use the word embroidered, but it was
laser engraved.
Yeah.
And
it looked nice.
I got another one here that I just made a while back. You could see it hanging over here.
Yeah,
that one's gonna be used for when I go camping.
My god, I hadn't noticed. You have all the 3D printers out here.
Yeah, got a whole bunch of stuff. I was busy cranking stuff out to give away, dude.
Yeah,
as gifts to the family. So you were the beneficiary of one.
Very cool, man. I do appreciate that, man. Let's talk about the NBA and the Spurs. The Spurs, I mean, how do I phrase it, man? Spurs fans need to calm the F down, dude. They really need to calm down when it comes to cheering for this team a little bit, man. And I'm not saying I don't want the Spurs to be cheered for.
Pump the brakes, Mike?
No, I mean, be happy with what's going on with this team. The Spurs were projected to be a 46-win team.
Yeah, and in our absence, this happened.
Yeah, Mitch Johnson named Western Conference head coach of the month, 11-3 record. The Spurs are ahead of schedule when it comes to the rebuild. When it comes to building a team around Wemby, and that's because the Spurs are the number 2 team in the Western Conference. The Spurs lose a game, and the Spurs are not going to go 82-0, but they'll lose a game here and there to a team that is lesser than. They lost to Cleveland, they lost to Utah, Portland, and you look at that, and you think to yourself, "Oh my God, this team sucks." And Mitch Johnson, and oh my God, dude, the record's 25-10. But 25-10. Why are we complaining about Mitch Johnson when the Spurs have the 3rd best record in all the NBA?
The reason that Spurs fans complain is the team was clicking, dude, on all cylinders when they played against OKC, right? And they beat them handedly twice. Mm-hmm. Once here at home and the other one on Christmas Day at OKC, right? So the problem that Spurs fans are having is, why isn't the team playing like that again? Why are they losing to these lesser teams? But here's the thing. Right now, what do the Spurs look like? They look like a team that's playing without their 2 best players out on the court.
Yeah, Wemby's not out there, and
Vassell's hurt,
and it shows how important Vassell is to this team, because without Vassell on this team, the Spurs are down to just 1 or 2 3-point shooters. You have Champagnie, and maybe if he's feeling it, Harrison Barnes. And I'm not going to add Lindy Waters to that mix because that dude never plays. But the Spurs are 25-10, and because they beat OKC, Spurs fans are under this impression that they're going to beat every team.
They're world beaters.
That they're on a rampage and they're going to beat every single team.
Yeah.
You do realize that the other team playing is trying to win, and that they also have lottery players, and that they also have all-stars, and they go off, and you have cold streaks, right? And things revert to the mean all the time.
They revert back to how the team looked before they were clicking on all cylinders. They're starting to revert back to old bad habits again. Poor shot selection, chunking up threes, not knocking them down, not getting back, and defending the 3 or defending the wing very well.
Right.
And when you start doing these things, these little mistakes, they compound themselves. And what happens, you find yourself behind early, trying to catch back up. You expunge a lot of energy. You get tired. And what happens to the team in that 4th quarter? They make a triumphant comeback, Mike. They're down by 2 points, but they just can't seem to get over the hump because they run out of gas. They're tired.
Yeah. Do we think the Knicks are a good team? Guess what? They have 2 fewer wins and two more losses than the Spurs. Do we think Denver's a good team? Well, they're 23-12. These are good teams, but you lose games along the way because of injuries or whatever the case may be. And the Spurs defensively are not as good when Wemby's off the court.
They're not.
Offensively, they can still bring it, but Vassell not being there has hurt, because the Spurs without him, and the Spurs are 2-1 without Vassell out there. But the fact of the matter is that they need to have 11 3-pointers, a team record, all-time record by Champagnie to win one of those games.
One of the things that he helps the team do very well that goes unnoticed is the spacing.
Yeah.
And without him there as kind of like that focal point and that anchor, you see what happens.
Spurs on the road tomorrow, taking on the Memphis Grizzlies. This should be a victory for the Spurs. Memphis has been reeling this year. They're 15-20. Memphis has a losing record at home at 7-9. Spurs are 12-5 on the road. But let's talk about
they got a back-to-back.
They do. Let's talk about the Spurs, what they have going on right now, because January 10 is a very pivotal day in the NBA, because that is when contracts become they become official. And as much as we hate the guy that goes by the name Spurs Reporter, he brought up a very good point. That the Spurs have 5 contracts that need to be finalized by January 10. Stanley Umud, who's a two-way player. I think he was the one who took over for Riley Minix, if I'm not mistaken. The Spurs have a January 10 deadline to guarantee his contract.
Yeah.
The same goes for Bismack Biyombo, who's a roster player. He's on a non-guaranteed deal.
They just have him there as a body, dude.
Yeah, and the Spurs, if the Spurs keep him beyond January 10th, they got to pay him throughout the rest of the year. The same goes for Lindy Waters III. He's on a non-guaranteed deal. The Spurs could get rid of him if they wanted to. And then Harrison Ingram, who's been a two-way player for a while for the Spurs. And then a fan favorite, David Jones-Garcia, January 10 deadline.
When's the last time he sniffed the court, though?
Well, I mean, he wasn't ever going to.
You know, like, he's going to be over there with the Austin Spurs. But, I mean, he's a fan favorite, and rightfully so. Guy looked great in Summer League. A lot of energy. He got a little bit of run here.
Yeah.
Beginning of the season. And Spurs fans like to see him out there. You know, he's a fan favorite for a reason.
And fan favorite because, you know, he lit it up in the Las Vegas League and the California League. He lights it up for the Austin Spurs, and having the name Garcia, even though he's not his Mexican, he's Dominican, it means a lot in San Antonio, right?
Yeah.
My niece yesterday, we're having lunch here in San Antonio, asked me the question, why does Jeremy Sohan not play? And I basically said he's just not any good. He's not good enough to be on this roster, right? And it was so funny because I had just listened to the Zach Lowe podcast on The Ringer. Zach Lowe is legit, okay? I'm not saying that he's like Shams or Woj, but he's kind of like that in the fact that he has insiders out there. And and if you go onto our media share, because I sent it to the media share.
Let's see.
In a 30-second clip, he talked about 2 things involving the Spurs. One is involving the Spurs wanting to get rid of 2 players, not thinking about it or I'm opining about it. He was saying that the Spurs have 2 players that they're probably going to try to get rid of by the February deadline.
I actually don't see it here, dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll send it to you right now.
Is it on your Twitter?
I did not, but I'll put it on your. I'll put on the media shares, Area 210 media share, right?
Yes, sir.
Just sent it.
Okay.
But he's talking about players that he thinks the Spurs should get rid of, and 2 that he says the Spurs are actively trying to get rid of. And those are 2 different things, right? And then he brings up the question about the Spurs' window of opportunity for winning a championship, because when you look at it, the Spurs have a window of opportunity that Spurs fans like to think is like a decade long, because Wemby is not even near his prime yet. But because of the injuries that he's had, the deep vein thrombosis, the clot that he had last year, because of the injury he had earlier this year, and then he hyperextends his knee again, the calf injury, he is questioning. He's saying that NBA league officials are questioning the durability of Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah.
And are saying that the NBA circles are surprised at how well the Spurs are doing, realize they're ahead of schedule. But the other franchises are there saying that if they were in the same position, that they would do anything and everything to go get Giannis, because the window of opportunity with Wemby might actually be smaller than we think. It might not be 10 or 12 years. It might only be 4 or 5 years. And that the Spurs need to be prepared for that and should go for a championship, even if it means getting rid of a player as popular as Dylan Harper.
Yeah.
He brought up Harper's name. He didn't bring up Castle's name. He said Harper could be enough to bring in Giannis. And I found that to be interesting. So let's hear this moment from Zach Lowe's, the podcast he had over the weekend. And again, he's citing sources within the NBA and also saying that he knows that the Spurs are trying to send out 2 players. Let's hear what he has to say.
Close now. Their retort to that, the aggressive school of thought retort to that would be the hardest and most valuable jump to make is from in the conversation to favorites. And if you can make that jump while costing yourself only one of your 3 centerpiece young players, you should. And I always, just like you did, say, well, it's not just either or. There's a third path of they're for sure going to try to turn Sohan plus a pick, plus a swap, plus maybe another salary, Olynyk or something, into another viable rotation player to take some minutes from whoever deserves to play less.
Okay, so there's 2 things he said there, okay? We'll unpack both of them. One was, the preface to it all was the Spurs are ahead of schedule and everyone realizes this. But he says the Spurs need to make a move. Now, he was talking about Giannis specifically on that soundbite, where he was saying, get Harper out of there, go get Giannis, and have a lineup of Castle, Fox, Giannis, Wemby, Barnes.
Okay.
He goes, those 5 will get you into the finals. It makes you the favorite to go to the finals right away.
But again, if you get Giannis, it's a signal that you have a win now mentality versus you're building for the future.
And he was saying that the Spurs cannot build for the future anymore because Wemby is showing the signs of being an injury-prone player.
And who called that out?
Joe Stradamus did.
I told you. I try to tell everybody, and it's not like I'm being mean or I'm trying to go ahead and discount what Wemby is, right? At the end of the day, the history tells you one important thing. When you have people of that size, 7'5", 7'4", and taller, the life expectancy for said player is shortened. And it's because of injuries that they have. You know, it could happen with the knee. It could happen with their feet, you know?
Yeah.
The hamstring. I mean, and what have we seen already? He's had problems with what? His calf.
Well, and what's funny about it, though, because I see that we have a comment coming in from, scroll up a little bit, Grind City. Yeah. Perfect comment, by the way. Saying, if concerns are about the Wemby not being able to play longer term than you think, then making a trade for another injury-prone player is ridiculous. Stop playing GM. Okay, so the reason why I wouldn't want to have Giannis on this team is because of the price tag that comes with it.
Yeah.
Because then you have a starting lineup and nobody behind it at that point, right? But the name that the Spurs should go after to complement what's going on with his team right now plays for the New Orleans Pelicans. That's Trey Murphy III.
Yeah.
Trey Murphy is 25 years old and is on a manageable $28 million deal. This is a guy who's a small forward who averages 21 points per game this year, 49% from the field, 38.4% from 3, a volume 3-point shooter, 91% free throw shooter, averages 6 rebounds per game and almost 4 assists and almost 2 steals. The Pelicans are going to implode again. If you're going to dangle Harper for somebody, I don't think Giannis is the play. I think that this particular listener is correct. Because beyond the injury prone that Giannis is, he's also older. He's in his 30s. Trey Murphy's 25. He's 25. He fits the age of Castle and Wemby. He's a dead-eye 3-point shooter, Joe. Shoots 38% this year, shot 41% 2 years ago. For his career is a 38% 3-point shooter. For his career is a 90% free throw shooter. That's the guy you go get. And if it costs Harper, as much as I love Harper, and I think Harper's going to be a perennial all-star, you can sacrifice a Harper when you have Castle. You can sacrifice a Harper when you have Vassell. When you have other people, Fox, who can do what he does. I'm not saying that I would want it to be done. Like I would hate to see Harper go. But if you're going to get rid of your player, the first thing you want to do is throw them a crap platter and see if they swallow it. Like what the Spurs got for De'Aaron Fox. Offer them salary relief. Offer them Sohan and Olynyk, as this guy said.
Yeah.
That's $22, $23 million of expiring deals. Offer them a couple of first-round draft picks and see, is that enough to get Trey Murphy? And if they say no, we want to have Harper, you got to have that debate. The idea that I'm not saying that I'd be like, oh my God, you do it in a heartbeat. But what I am saying is that Trey Murphy's so good and he fits what the Spurs need so well, especially considering the fact that Harrison Barnes is going to be 34 years old, 35 next season. Why wouldn't you want to have that guy? Why wouldn't you want to have a 38% three-point shooter? Why wouldn't you want to have a 91% free throw shooter?
Because that backcourt of Harper and you have Vassell and you have Castle, that's probably going to be one of the better backcourts that you have in the NBA. And you combine that with Fox.
It's about pieces of the puzzle fitting together. And the three-guard lineup of Fox, Harper, and Castle has worked a lot better than what people thought. Who said that it was going to work? I did.
Yeah. But I'm saying,
but
pretty.
It is good, but the screen kind of went as his camera was unplugged. I don't know, man. It's I don't want to get rid of Harper, dude. That's not what I want. But I'm just saying that if you can get a Trey Murphy on the back end, you're getting somebody just as good on the other side. Trey Murphy, how Spurs no problem. You know how Spurs fans, like our good friend James Pledger, gets a big old hard-on for Lauri Markkanen, who gets hurt all the time. And I know there's injury proneness for Trey Murphy as well. He's had some injury years, 2023, 2024, 24, 25. He had some injuries as well. But my goodness, man, that's a good player. That's a good player. I'm just saying, Joe. I'm just saying that entertain the idea. Give them a crap platter. See if they take a big bite out of it. Give them trade relief. Give them salary cap relief.
Change for them. And if you can keep Harper, that's the first thing you want to do. But if it costs Harper to get a Giannis, if it costs Harper to get a Trey Murphy, you've got to debate it. I'm not saying pull the trigger right away. I'm just saying you got to debate it.
Yeah, everybody was saying, you're out, your audio. I'm like, yes, we came back. We got it fixed.
Nice.
I made the changes here.
Mm-hmm. It says, hand of a fist says that the camera went out because of my cap. Again, I'm a big Dylan Harper fan. Dylan Harper is my favorite Spur, right? But I don't fall in love with players. I fall in love with the team.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe, 25-year-old Trey Murphy, Joe. How many players out there are average 21 points on 38.5% three-point shooting, Joe?
Look at this. Oh, man.
Who's Vic Vaughn?
The guy that comes out for that Toyota commercial at Bernie. They said that's how you sound. You sound like a car salesman.
Well, you know what? Sometimes you got to do things, man.
Yeah, Sean Quintero's joining us. Thanks, Sean.
Good morning, Sean.
I don't know, man. In my opinion, I think you just go ahead and stick with the pieces that you have. The only thing is you just got to monitor what's going to happen with Wemby, because when he's out there on the court, he's a very good player. He changes the dynamic of the Spurs team where you can go ahead and go toe-to-toe and even beat teams like Oklahoma City. But you had told me one thing way back when, and it's a staple of the show. What is the best ability is availability.
Right.
And if you're not there with your team because you're constantly hurt, that's a detriment to the team, because it tells you one thing, that they can't rely on you consistently to be out there because you're always injured. You know, you have to be available. You have to be able to play through these injuries. But I understand why they're being cautious with them, because, again, when you have somebody of that size and they have injuries to the lower extremities, you don't want it to compound and be, let's say, be a bigger injury. Right. You don't want it to be something even worse. So I understand how they're going to err on the side of caution, because at the end of the day, you do want him available, but you want him available at the key moments. And that's going to be when you're making a big push come February, March for the playoffs.
I think the names that are going to be out there in February are going to be very dramatic, Joe.
Yeah.
There's going to be dominoes falling, and are the Spurs going to be part of that mix? Because here's some of the names being rumored by the ESPNs and Athletics and New York Times of the world. Anthony Davis, Giannis, Trae Young, Lauri Markkanen, John Morant, Zion Williamson. Teams that those are the top tier players that could be on the move.
Yeah.
Then you have a second tier: Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Malik Monk, Klay Thompson, Kobe White. There's Michael Porter Jr., Jonathan Kuminga, Daniel Gafford. These are all names that could be in the mix for it all. New York Times and The Athletic has an article right now. They posted over the weekend saying the 5 teams that need to make a trade include the Atlanta Hawks, and the Spurs have the number 1 pick from the Hawks this year as part of a swap. The Milwaukee Bucks need to make a trade, they say. The LA Clippers need to make a trade. The Warriors need to make a trade, and according to them, the Lakers, because Lakers are good, but not good enough to make any noise in the playoffs. So what's that one said, the no shot they trade Harper? What's that post he had here? Okay, so Bones Tube come out, 3713. Welcome to the show. Says no shot they trade Harper, LOL. Spurs will be patient with this team. They're not a knee-jerk team. Well, let me ask you this, though. The Spurs went and got Fox. The Spurs went and got Barnes. The Spurs went and got Luke Cornett. The Spurs went and got players that are on this team that are playing significant minutes for this team that weren't on the team last year.
Yeah.
The idea that the Spurs are simply just building through the draft is nonsense. What is it, Joe? You need to build through the draft. You develop players. You need to bring in the proper free agents, and you need to get a star. Guess what the Spurs did? They got a star in De'Aaron Fox. They built through the draft. Castle, Harper, Wemby.
No,
then they brought in free agents. Luke Cornett. The Spurs are running 3 things, spinning 3 plates right now. The idea that the Spurs are just not a knee-jerk team. The Spurs are evolving before our eyes. It just doesn't feel that way, Joe.
The best signing this offseason,
Cornett,
dude. Bar none was Cornett. If you didn't have Cornett in this lineup, the Spurs record would look a lot different.
Right. I am not advocating the Spurs get rid of Harper. Harper's my favorite player on this team. What I'm saying is that he's not untradeable. That's what I'm saying. He's not the only untradeable player on this team right now is Wemby. You might say that Castle and Harper are probably the 1A and 1B of it all. But if the Spurs, it depends on whether the Spurs think that this is a long-term, if they're worried about the future prospects of Wemby being able to play 70, 80 games, not being able to play 70, 80 games. Because Spurs fans don't know how good Trey Murphy is because they don't watch Trey Murphy play. He's just a really good player. Like other teams don't realize how good Harper is. Casual fans, right?
Or they found out how good Avdija was the other day.
Danny Avdija, who Pop had a hard-on for a long time. Pop had always been trying to trade for Denny.
Yeah.
And Denny's now a 25-5-5 guy.
For Portland.
Portland. Again, Tony and us and Spurs disagree with you. Mike Castle and Harper are untouchable. Don't get it twisted with Zach Lowe. Maybe you're right. But I'm not saying that that's your first offer, Joe. The first offer is what? Cap space. I opined the other day on Twitter whether or not the Spurs should consider getting rid of Barnes. If you had to get Trey Murphy, you had to get rid of Barnes, Sohan, and Olynyk. Don't you just do it?
Why are you gonna? What if you get rid of the Toyota Corolla? What are you gonna get?
Well, the Toyota Corolla is a free agent at the end of the year. He's an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. It is very possible. Okay, do you think the Spurs are going to want to kick the tires on a 35-year-old Harrison Barnes?
Why not? The Toyota Corolla is reliable.
Father Time is undefeated, dude.
Hey, that Toyota Corolla barely has 100,000. That's nothing, dude. That's nothing.
That Toyota Corolla has 175, Joe.
No, bro.
At some point,
it's closer to 100.
At some point, the diminishing returns are there, Joe. He is still at what? Okay, what do I do for a living, Joe?
Make money.
I do investments.
Make money.
And what do I tell my clients all the time? Buy low, sell high. Barnes is as valuable as he'll ever be for the Spurs. He's as valuable as he'll ever be in the NBA. Buy low, sell high. He's as high as you can sell him. Because if you get rid of Barnes, $19 million, Right? What is Barnes' contract? Let me see here. I want to get this correct.
Look, Hanover Fist says, bring back Barnes for less.
Well, I mean,
you can do that.
You can do that, right? But we don't know the backdoor discussions going on with this, Joe. Maybe the backdoor discussion is Harrison Barnes, we're going to bring you in for a 2-year, $27 million contract. We do, and if that's the case, that's good. But if Harrison Barnes is there saying, no, I'm making $19 million this year, I want to make $19 million next year.
Toyota Corolla's got a little bit of mileage on it now. You can't act like you're coming right off the lot now.
Right. But look at the cap space, Joe. The Spurs can free up $19 million of cap space with Harrison Barnes. Again, I'm not saying that that's your first offer.
Yeah.
The first offer is what Zach Lowe said. Do you believe me on that one, Joe? Do you believe him on that one? He says the Spurs offer right now on the table is Kelly Olynyk and Jeremy Sohan, along with picks.
Bye.
To get the Spurs some players.
Bye. You know?
Right? So Olynyk, $13.5 million. Sohan, 7.1. You add it all together, that is $20 million of cap space that they can offer. But if they want to go after Trey Murphy's at $28 million in salary.
Salary's got to match.
At least get close to it, right?
Yeah.
Which means you got to get rid of another player. Who's that going to be? Is that going to be? There's nobody else on the roster, dude. There's nobody else on the roster. I mean, unless you're going to give up Champagnie.
He's your best 3-point shooter you got right now. You're going to give up your let's say your bench depth and getting rid of Keldon. That would be a bad move too.
You wouldn't want to get rid of Champagnie because he's on a team offer next year of $3 million. I mean, he's basically on minimum wage for the NBA. And for what you get out of him, you get $12 million of production for a $3 million guy.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. You kind of keep him. You could get rid of Jordan McLaughlin. You can get rid of Liddy Waters or Bismack Biyombo. You can make it happen, but they're not going to want to take on 5 contracts just to then get rid of them, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting, man. And Samson's asking me, why are you giving so much credibility to Zach Lowe? Because Zach Lowe is pretty well in tune with the NBA. You know, Zach Lowe's been around the block. You know, this isn't Spurs reporter. You know, this is, and no, I'm not the burner account for him.
At the end of the day, I don't want to go ahead and get rid of Harper. You keep Harper. Either. You keep Vassell. You keep Stephon Cass.
Do you keep Vassell?
Yes. And you keep Fox. This is going to be your best backcourt that you have. You keep them. The only thing is you need to have a healthy Wemby. That's the magic sauce, dude. When Wemby is healthy, he makes the team better.
The other player to get rid of, if you want to get to the $28 million, Carter Bryant. That's the name we didn't look at. By the way, because if it costs Carter Bryant, if you were to tell me that we could get Trey Murphy III for Kelly Olynyk, Carter Bryant, Jeremy Sohan, and 2 first-rounders,
do it.
Do it in a heartbeat. Do it in a heartbeat. I don't want to get rid of Harper. I'm not opining that, but I'm saying that if you want a superstar player and it costs Harper, it just is what it is. That's the cost of admission. Trey Murphy is not a superstar player. He's just a very, 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 very good player. He's like the best. He's a really good third person on the roster.
So we'd be going from a Corolla to a Camry?
No, we would be going from a Corolla to a Lexus.
Okay. That's just the luxury line of Toyota.
Yeah.
Come on,
he's the Lexus. By the way, guess who's a free agent next season?
Who?
Keldon. Oh my goodness, what's going to happen there? Keldon Johnson has been, I mean, I have fallen back in love with Keldon. Not that I was ever out of love with Keldon, but let me be honest with you on this one. My esteem and love for Keldon Johnson has never been higher than it is today. And someone posed the question on Twitter, is Keldon going to have his jersey retired by the Spurs one day? He moved into number 15 all time in Spurs scoring. And he's 1,000 away from being in the top 10, which means he's at the end of next season, he will be a top 10 scorer of all time in there. By the way, the Spurs players 1 through 7 all-time scoring on the rafters. 1 through 7. Number 9 on the rafters. Number 8 is not on the rafters. Mike Mitchell. But I've been on record before saying they should have retired Mike Mitchell's jersey a long time ago.
Yeah, but then you have the little general on there, and why is he there?
He hit that jumper 15-footer from the left side.
Yeah, but I mean, he's there for that. I get it, but should he be?
Yes. Yeah, little general should be on there of all time. He for a good while there, he was the all-time assist leader for the Spurs as well.
But when you look at point guards and you look at the grand scheme of things, he's going to be one of the best point guards in Spurs history, bar none.
The best point guard of all time the Spurs have ever had. Okay, the greatest is Tony Parker. The best is Alvin Robertson. Alvin Robertson still holds the record for most steals in
Tony has the hardware.
Yeah, Tony, he's the greatest player. Kind of like this. The greatest player of Spurs history, and I might get crapped on for this. The greatest player of all time in Spurs history is Tim Duncan. Is he the best player the Spurs have ever had?
I already know what you're going to say. No,
it's David Robinson. David Robinson, I was there. I synced it. I saw David Robinson 1989 through 1996 before he had his back injury. He was the best Spur I've ever seen in my entire life and still will be. And 50 years from now, after Wemby and all that stuff, David Robinson will still be the best player I've ever seen on the court wearing the Spurs silver and black.
He changed.
He's not the greatest Spur of all time. The greatest Spur will forever be Tim Duncan. It's kind of like the greatest quarterback of all time is Tom Brady, but he's not the best quarterback of all time. He didn't have the best arm. He didn't have the best legs. He didn't have the best whatever. He was the greatest because he has the hardware. It's like that with Avery Johnson or Tony Parker. To me, if you want to say like the best players of all time for the Spurs, number 1's David Robinson. Number 2 is Tim Duncan. Number 3, Gervin. Number 4, Manu.
They said I dislike AJ. I don't dislike Avery Johnson. I'm just saying when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, I mean, just because he had a shot from the corner, you're going to raise his number up to the rafters. I'm like, when you win a championship, it's because of more than just one shot.
Well, I mean, he was also, I'll give Avery Johnson his flowers, dude. All-time scoring leader for the Spurs is Tim Duncan at 26,000 and change. He had Gervin at number 2. David Robinson at 3. All 3 of those with more than 20,000 points.
Look at
Parker 4, Manu Ginobili 5, James Silas is 6. It's Mike Mitchell that didn't make it at number 7. Sean Elliott's at 8.
Look at AJ. Midtown. He says AJ and Bowen should not be up there. I'm not gonna say he's wrong.
Will Bowen was an all-time defensive, was a first team all defensive player. He won some chips for the team. I can see the argument against. I can see the argument against. Bowen was not an all-star. You know who was? Mike Mitchell. 13-year-old Mike talking.
We sound like Cowboy fans. Oh,
dude. And this is when you hear 25 and 30-year-old Spur fan who don't know how good David Robinson was. David Robinson, if he played for the Lakers, David Robinson, if he played for the Celtics, would be considered to be a top 15 player of all time. He's already a top 25, 30 player of all time.
Yeah.
But because a small market, and he didn't get the chip because you had Jordan's Bulls, you had Stockton, and I was going to say it about Karl Malone. Certifiable. Wop, 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 dot F him up. Wop, 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 wop. I'll do my stuff. There you go. Hey, that was actually verified.
Bowen guarded the best for those championships.
Sometimes he did. Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to the Spurs having Bowen up there. Not opposed. The one that's controversial is Johnny Moore.
No, the one that's controversial that'll never be up there in the rafters is Kawhi.
Yeah, but now as time has gone on, and
he'll never be up there.
You're right. The dirt's been like the stories coming out of Pablo Torre's reporting on Pablo Torre reports, and you see what's going on with Steve Ballmer and all that stuff, and then what happened in Toronto and all that stuff, and you get the full scope of what happened. I get it.
They put Moses on that brother, dude. You don't see Kawhi's likeness at the Frost Center. That's all I'm saying. He was stricken from the record books. Mm-hmm. They did a Moses on Kawhi, dude. It's like he don't belong here. Like he never played for the Spurs or nothing, you know?
Yeah. Ichigo says Olajuwon. Olajuwon was amazing.
Yeah.
Olajuwon, the two different types of players. Because Olajuwon, you know, Phi Slamma Jamma coming out of the University of Houston, was more of a traditional center. He was a center in the mold of Bill Russell. He was Bill Russell. He was Moses Malone type of player. You know, back to the basket, dream shake, great defender, all that stuff. Robinson was in the wrong era. Robinson belonged in this era.
Yeah, I mean, if he was playing right now, he'd fit right in.
He would fit right seamlessly into this league.
Or what you need a center to be nowadays, you know, protecting the rim, being able to hit a jumper,
run the break.
The only thing is that he wouldn't play with his back to the basket anymore.
Right.
In this era of NBA, he would face his defender and he would be able to beat him with his speed, athleticism.
People don't know how good that guy was. David Robinson is the most amazing player I've ever seen in the silver and black. David Robinson would swat away Jordan repeatedly and block Jordan once or twice, like 3 or 4 times in a game.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a no-fly zone, but he also didn't have the help. And that's the beauty of what happened with Tim Duncan. Was Tim Duncan got into a team that had an aging but still savvy David Robinson, that had a Sean Elliott on the team that was a multi-all-star guy, that had an Avery Johnson, that had players around them that they could build around. And then he goes in, and then they built through the draft with Parker and Ginobili.
Yeah.
It was very fortunate, right? Now we're seeing this with Wemby. Wemby doesn't have to be the man anymore. You know, you have a Fox and Harper and Castle and all that stuff. It's fun times, man. Spurs fans should really just back off of Mitch Johnson, man. You know, I was looking at it this way, Joe. Greg Popovich, when he got his first 50-win season.
Yeah.
It's Greg Popovich's first full season with the Spurs. Remember, he S-canned Bob Hill.
Yeah, I told brother not to get on the bus.
Yeah. He thought it was a joke.
Yeah.
Popovich was 48 years old when he became a 50-win coach. 56 wins that year. We have a 39-year-old Mitch Johnson who might be the youngest 50-win head coach in Spurs history.
Might be. We also got breaking news here.
Tell me.
I'll go ahead and show it on screen. NFL's reporting right now the Cardinals have parted ways with head coach Jonathan Gannon. He gone.
What's his name?
Gone.
Again, Arizona Cardinals. 13 has missed playoffs 13 out of 16 seasons. By the way, there's a good question there by Mario Cavazos. Who was better, Sean Elliott or Devin Vassell? Without question, it was Sean Elliott. Why? Because Sean Elliott was a lockdown defender from time to time. Offensively, they're very comparable. But Sean Elliott, defensively, was a very, very good player. And it's not me being nostalgic. I seen it. He was 6'9". I seen it.
Sean Elliott was a good player in his heyday, but he was another player, like Spurs fans would like to think, was untouchable, would never get traded. What happened?
Mm-hmm.
His name was gone.
Yeah.
And then what did they get for him? Dennis Rodman.
That whole trade for Dennis Rodman was a little bit... That's the fishiest time of Spurs history.
It was.
And what it's funny. I told Chica this the other day. We're driving, and there's 2 songs that I hear that remind me of the Spurs locker room inside the Alamo Dome back in the mid-'90s. I was working at KSAT 12 at the time, much like my daughter is now, but I would do post-game interviews for the Spurs. And there's 2 songs that I hear, Joe. Return of the Mac by Mark Morrison.
Return of the Mac.
I hear that song, 1996. Return of the Mac. I'm picturing, who was it? What was that white dude's name? Was it Will Perdue? Who was that one guy on the Spurs roster? I forgot who it was, who would always listen to Mark Morrison's Return of the Mac.
Either you had the white guys that were centers was Rasho Nesterovich, Will Perdue, and there was the other one after that, Fabricio.
I mean, let me look up the 1996.
But he wasn't a white guy.
I'm looking up the Spurs roster. By the way, the other song is "Here Comes the Hot Stepper" by Innie Kamosi. That was the team that I look at, and it was Will Perdue. That was the team that had Vinny Del Negro, Sean Elliott, Jamie Fike, Carl Hedetta, Avery Johnson, Vernon Maxwell, Will Perdue, Chuck Person, Charles Smith. I was actually co-workers with Charles Smith's wife.
Wow,
because she worked at KSAT 12 at the time. Monty Williams, man, Dominic Wilkins, what a good team. That was a team leading up into the whole Tim Duncan era, man. They had it ready to go. Good grief, Joe. Getting old, man. Hey, Joe, I saw a movie. You know, we're doing movie reviews sometimes.
Yeah.
Chica wanted me to watch over the weekend, and I had never seen this movie before. Again, these are movies that everyone has always seen, but I haven't. Avatar.
The original Avatar?
The 2009 Avatar. So it's about 17 years old.
That movie was not bad. It's all right.
That's all right.
It's all right.
I told her, so she's like, the entire time, she was like, I cannot believe you haven't seen Avatar. I was like, leave me alone, dude. So then I'm watching this movie, right? Holding Chica, you know, we're cuddles on the couch. And I looked at her and I said, so this movie's The Matrix. She goes, I've never seen it. I'm like, well, why are you giving me crap for never seeing Avatar when you haven't seen The Matrix? Which, by the way, not to give any plot points away, but my God, Avatar is a complete ripoff of The Matrix. Maybe not point for point, but it's like 80% there.
Well, it's not a ripoff of The Matrix. It's a ripoff of another little known animation that came out years ago, right? And kind of had the same premise and stuff like that. I think it was called Fern Gully or something like that.
Yeah, it was probably a movie no one's ever seen.
Yeah, and it came out, I think, with 20th Century Fox at the time, their animation studio.
Yeah.
And if you kind of look at that premise for that animated flick, it's Avatar, dude.
Oh, really?
It's Avatar.
Well, I saw this thing the other day asking the question. It was a TikTok that I saw asking the question, is Point Break and Fast and the Furious the same movie?
Yeah.
It's about the same plot points, that they're all, it's an identical movie.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, the first Avatar was good, but after that, they just got dumb, bro. And especially this latest one in the theater, complete garbage. It was so bad, it's put me off of the Avatar franchise from now on. If they release another movie, I ain't gonna watch it, dude. I'll wait for it to come out for free. Maybe if I want to watch it, I'll watch it eventually, but I'm done.
Yeah. People in the chat are talking about The Matrix. Matrix is an incredible movie.
Yeah.
I mean, the Matrix is one of the 10 greatest movies of my lifetime. Easily.
The first Matrix was really good, and then second one was all right, and then the last Matrix was.
I've never seen them. I love the first movie so much. I never saw the sequels. Don't tell me anything.
No, I'm not telling you anything about them. I'm just saying, like, they have the I guess the way the franchise is written, right? First one was really good. Second one was all right, and then the last one kind of ties things up, but it's just not as good as the original. You know what I mean? Like, nothing is as good as the original when it comes to the Matrix. Like, the original was the best one. The other two movies weren't bad. I'm not going to tell you anything about them. But, like, if you watch the second one, I think you'd like it too. And you'd be like, okay, this is pretty good, you know? But then you watch the third one and you'll be like, what? What's going on?
So, it's good. Yeah, I want to check out the second one. I do want to check it out.
That one is actually good. I'm telling you, if you see the second one, you'll be like, hey, this is pretty good. Yeah.
I have this. I saw this guy he's a journalist on TikTok, and he's a legit journalist. He does music reviews and stuff like that. And he posed the question the other day, whether or not Drake, the rapper / pop star Drake, whether or not he's fake when it comes to his music numbers. And he goes on to say, we had that big old debate last year, or last 18 months or so. It was the battle between Kendrick Lamar and Drake, and Kendrick Lamar ended up winning a lot of Grammys last year for Not Like Us and all that stuff. And then this year, the 2026 nominations came out for the Grammys that are going to come out in February. Kendrick Lamar's favorite again because of the other songs on that album, most notably Luther. But he was talking about Bad Bunny versus The Weeknd versus Kendrick Lamar versus Drake versus Beyonce. And he was basically saying that if you look at the Spotify list of all the top songs that have been played over the past 3 years, that The Weeknd will go sell out SoFi, will sell out the Alamo Dome. Bad Bunny will sell out a football stadium. Beyonce will sell out a football stadium. Well, maybe not anymore, but used to. But he goes, Kendrick Lamar right now can go sell out a football stadium. If he goes to NRG Stadium, he could, right?
And what did you say about NRG Stadium?
It's beautiful. Oh, wait, I'll get to that in a second. I'll get to that in a second. But he was posing the question. He says that there's a belief in the music industry that Drake employs bots to listen to his music on that Drake and his people deploy bots to pump up the numbers to make him seem more popular than what he is. Do you think musicians do that, Joe? So that they get to the top of the charts or whatnot? Because he says because he's saying that Drake can't even fill out a basketball stadium. How is he getting 2.3 billion streams of this one particular song, but having a hard time filling Madison Square Garden, having a hard time filling the Frost Bank Center?
Yeah.
He goes, there's something amiss there. Because usually the number of listens correlates to I can fill a football stadium or a basketball stadium or at least a majestic theater. Taylor Swift can fill out a football stadium.
An open stadium, yeah.
But he goes, Drake is the only one who can't go and get his number of billions of listens to butts and seats. And it's questioning whether or not there's something going on with the
algorithms.
With the algorithm, yeah.
I think what happens too is that there was a lot of damage done to Drake's reputation of him being kind of creepy.
Yeah.
You know, and whether it's true, whether it's not, it's just hearsay or whatever. Either way, by him not coming out and saying anything about it or having his PR people release some type of statement or anything, it's painted him in a bad light. So even though, you know, you still have fans of him, I think they don't want to, like the majority of people now don't want to go and pay to see him.
Right.
You know?
I don't know, man. NRG. So I went to the Texas Bowl, which was an LSU loss to the Houston Cougars there at NRG Stadium. Had very good seats. Was on the like the 15th row with a couple of friends in Chica. And my friends are Houston Cougar grads, so they did not want me sitting next to them wearing purple, so I kind of wore a neutral color. But I told you during the game, what did I text you, Joe? I mean,
he said, and I quote, NRG is such a beautiful stadium, so much better than the Alamo Dome.
Oh, I said it more graphic than that.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm just telling the listeners.
I want to see if I can find that text. Let's get it straight, Joe.
You were just saying how much better NRG Stadium looked than the Alamo Dome. You were crapping on the Alamo Dome. You said it was ugly. And you're not wrong.
Oh, God, my God. I found the text. I was 3 beers in, Joe.
Only 3?
I said, greetings. NRG Stadium is so beautiful. Makes the Alamo Dome look like dog shh. I go on to say that I had the best wings of my entire life at NRG, which was true. Those were amazing. Chica said I look like a squirrel. Like I was
you ain't gonna find good food at the Alamo Dome. Let's be honest.
Oh my God, it was so good at NRG. Dude, that football stadium's legit. And by the way, this is why I want UTSA to have its own stadium. And I know that we've had Frank Harris on, UTSA star quarterback for many years, saying how much they love the Alamo Dome. You just don't know what it's like going to a real football atmosphere, man. Going to and I know I've been to DKR, and that's 150 years worth of backdrop in history. But my goodness, man. My goodness. NRG Stadium was jumping, dude. Was jumping. And Houston Cougar fan knows their football. It was so much fun to go to that atmosphere and watch it for myself.
It said MJ would be amazed by AT&T in Dallas.
You know what the worst stadium I've ever been to watch a football game is? Former Texas Stadium, Cowboys, where the Cowboys played before.
Yeah, the old one.
Dude, that was a high school football stadium masquerading as an NFL.
It was
stadium.
never finished. That's the problem with it.
Dude, it looked like I was at Gus Stadium to watch Holmes play Jay. It was like the same vibe over there for an NFL game.
Big old hole in the roof and everything.
The Astrodome was also trash.
Oh, dude.
Back in the day, dude.
It was dated. All right, man. We're going to have to go ahead and call this one. We've gone on for an hour and 45 minutes. We've been gone for a week.
We did it, baby. We did it. I got to get back into work. I'll be at the office. Hey, if you have any questions, if your New Year's resolution is to save money, if it's to better insure yourself and your family, reach out to me at 210-508-0369, 210-508-0369. I handle people's retirement accounts. If you have an old 401k, want to start an IRA, college savings account for your kid, want to get life insurance, long-term care, disability, give me a call, 210-508-0369, 210-508-0369. Joe, it's been fun. I'll be working in San Antonio today. We're going to have, again, Map My Walk. Download the app. Send me your 210-508-0369. Send me your email address. I'll add you as a friend. We'll link you into the challenge. Again, it started yesterday. We're off and running, literally, off and walking. And didn't Texas Frank say hat goes to the winner?
Hat goes to the winner
for the burn off your panza challenge.
We got another one, Mike. This one I thought we were done. Got more breaking news here to end the show. I just saw another one bite the dust here. It looks like they were saying goodbye to another coach in the NFL. Well, it kind of came and gone. It went already. So
the Falcons.
Yeah, Falcons.
Raheem Morris and Terry Fontenot, the
there
GM.
You go. I see it now.
Both goners.
Gone. They gone.
Hey, 8-9 was not good enough for the Falcons, which is weird. But they didn't make the playoffs. They were
disappointing, dude.
Disappointing. Very nice. Well, we will be back tomorrow, fellas. Everyone have a fantastic day. We'll be back tomorrow. This is the Area 210 podcast, powered again by PF Chang's La Catera. Go get that fried rice over there, baby. We'll be back tomorrow.